All right. Sorry about that. My phone decided it was just gonna crash. Whatever. Anyways, I was talking about Musk and the rebrand. Yeah. So kind of to recap, Elon Musk bought Twitter like a year ago for $44 billion, and ever since then has done policy changes that have made the platform worse. Reverted some of those changes because advertisers were fleeing, and then continues to slowly just dwindle away the quality of the platform, so much so that advertisers really don't want anything to do with it. And for that reason, he decided, probably the best thing to do would be to take this very popular platform that my name ruined the reputation of and just rebrand it to a letter. The letter X. X Corp. No! You fucking moron. I don't, I, he's so bad at everything. He is definitely the least competent person. Like, this is literally the reinforcement of the idea that people who have wealth will be influential, regardless of how intelligent they actually are. He makes terrible decisions. He's an embarrassment to his own father. Now, his father's not a good person and kind of owned, Emerald Mine with slave labor and whatnot in apartheid South Africa. So, really bad guy. But the fact that you are an embarrassment as far as being able to run businesses and shit to your very conservative business owning father, that might give you pause. It doesn't give me pause. Being an embarrassment to a conservative father is a daily thing for me. I mean, I'm an anarchist. My father is not. My father is he's a conservative. Yeah. My mother is more liberal leaning. Yeah. Yeah. One of those things. Anyways, the deal is like you need to be at least mildly competent, especially if you're gonna do things like buy one of the most popular social media platforms. I mean, it came in at number seven, which yeah, there's not a whole lot of like big name platforms like that. Like Twitter is kind of one of the bigger ones, but I mean, come on, like really, you, the letter X, you're just gonna change it to X. Followers are now viewers. Like, there's so many connotations to this. For one, X is usually associated with porn. Let's face the letter X. You see the letter X on something, you're like, that either means no, somebody I used to be with, or deals with porn. And the rebrand of Twitter to X, you're going to have X audio and X posts or threads or whatever the fuck they call them, and X viewers and X videos. Because, yeah, they're changing the followers to viewers. So instead of having, X followers, you're going to have X viewers. And either way that goes, that's so many connotations that are just weird. You have to really think about it for a second. It's a terrible strategy to rebrand to a letter, for one. But outside of that, like, just the other connotations that one letter has. Changing it from tweets and retweets to X's and re-X's. What are you doing? You're dumb. You're just you're, Elon. Your brain is goop. I don't understand. I don't understand how he got so much fucking money and why he's as popular as he is. There is no reason for any of that. I guess because he's really stupid and confident about it. I don't know. That sounds about, yeah. I had to kind of recap what I was talking about before my phone decided that YouTube didn't need to work. I guess it's because I got a phone call. But yeah, overall, terrible strategy. Although Musk does really like the letter X, as you could tell. Tesla Model X, SpaceX. Now he's changing Twitter to X. He wanted to name PayPal X like 15 years ago or some shit. And everybody else that was partial owners and PayPal was like, no, you're fucking stupid. We're not doing that. Terrible for search engine optimization. He actually posted a link that's like, look, if you go to x.com, it now redirects you to twitter.com, Twitter, www dot or w to https slash slash colon dot www dot twitter.com dot or something. And when you clicked on it, people were getting different results. From what I saw from some people, you were getting a GoDaddy Park page or whatever. And it's like, okay, that kind of makes sense. Some people were just getting a pure blank white screen. And some people were just getting redirected to porn sites. So, not exactly the best thing that you could have done. And you probably should have checked the integrity of your link before you sent it out, where millions, hundreds of millions of people were going to see it, including a lot of children. But he doesn't care. He doesn't care. It's not something he wants to care about. So honestly, Elon just brain meltingly stupid. I don't understand any of the things that have made him popular or gotten him as much money as he has. I do hate him. Also, he's at least ideologically aligned with, if not ideologically in lockstep with, fascists. And it's so easy to get him to cave to what you want if you are a far right person in a position of power, because all you have to do is look at him and go, okay, you either do this thing for me or we restrict Twitter in our country. And he will cave. It's just, he named his price on Twitter. Like, he's so dumb. So dumb. So, yeah, if you're on Twitter and you're even remotely left leaning, get off of it. Because it's just going to shit. It's officially time to just leave Twitter. You can go to Mastodon. You can try and get a Blue Sky link. You can get on Threads, I guess. I don't fucking know. If you want a social media. But Twitter ain't it. Twitter dad is done. It's ridiculous. Now, before we actually move on to another thing, because I've only got two things in this, it's supposed to be a very short stream because I don't know. Uh, Part of the thing is I am packing up to move. I mean, if I move over here, there's a bag right there. Over here is some stuff I've packed. Kitchen and living room's being packed. Some of the stuff needs to be picked up, but I don't want to do it until the last minute while I'm looking for another place. I'm trying to get approved for one. In a bit of a bind, honestly. I really am when it comes to finding a place and financing it. I didn't get much notice from my landlord. The old fuck just decided he was going to show up, give me a lease, and then 3 days later show up and tell me I don't need to bother signing that lease because he's trying to sell the house. And that was at the end of last month, so I really only had about 30 days to figure out what the hell I'm doing. And it takes a while. So it's part of the reason I haven't been around. That my computer is still just dead. It doesn't do anything. I can get power to go to it, but it won't display anything. Can't get it to go to BIOS, can't get it to do literally anything. So I need somebody to look at it, and I have a person. I just need her to be available. Or them, I think they switched pronouns. I'm not 100% sure. But I've got myself some trans lefty tech support local to my state, so that's pretty based. Uh, that's gonna have to wait though. So until I can figure all that out, until I can get my computer up and running, I actually have a new motherboard that's in it that I need diagnosed. Got a new processor, got new RAM, still an older graphics card, but it's those are expensive as shit. Uh, yeah, so once I can get all that up and running and back together, I should be able to get back to doing what I was doing. And it'll be even better, I think, because A, I could record videos without the corruption that I was experiencing on my old motherboard and processor. For some reason, something about it, I could record videos and it would look fine while I'm recording it. And then when I'd go to watch it or edit it or something, it would just be green and purplish pink just all across the screen. There'd be like double up overlays and stuff. I have no idea what that was. Probably because the processor overheated once. My fan got tangled up with a lot of hair and dust. I didn't buy air duster because I was very irresponsible. That was on me. And, I mean, I've got all this, and it just kind of floats off. So that's, yeah, that was on me. However, we're going to get things figured out, hopefully, very soon. Moving on to the tanky shit. Okay. Hakeem recently made a video, and I only know about it because Keffels did a response to it. And I'm sitting there listening to Keffels' version of it. Hello, Brian. How are you doing today? Uh, so I was listening to Keffels go over it, and honestly, yeah, Hakeem betrayed he showed a really poor understanding of not just theory, honestly, a really, really terrible uh, understanding of any theory. He really did. Uh, Promoting a Vanguard party for one, oh my god, no. No leftist should be promoting a fucking Vanguard party. You're not actually a leftist if you promote Vanguardism. I'm sorry, you're not. You're not. You might be a Leninist, you might be a Maoist, Stalinist, something. Stalinists definitely are not. They're not leftist. They're not communists. They are fascist, state worshipping autocrats. That's what they are. Stalinists definitely are that. But Hakeem was molding about the use of the term tanky was the main thing that I picked up on. And it was very funny to me because he's like, oh, it means these three things, and one of them was like anybody who shows support for the USSR or whatever, even if they point out the flaws but try to acknowledge the successes and stuff. And it's like, no, no, that's not. People don't use tanky for that. The problem is a lot of tankies like to hide behind. Oh no, I don't want to praise the USSR. But as soon as you start going like, okay, well, what about this, and this, that are things that are legit criticisms of it, like the Holodomor, like Stalin's disappearances of people, like so many fucking things. They start playing apologetics for it because it's not actually about oh, there were some successes and some failures. To them, it's Stalin could do no wrong. Stalin was the successor of Lenin. Lenin knows all. They even go so far as to be very, very specific on the definition of imperialism only meaning what Lenin said it means, which is not the way that works. Lenin had a definition that is a subset portion of imperialism. Imperialism could manifest in this manner, but that's not all imperialism is. And they don't even go through the book, like the theory that this is about. They literally quote the title at you. Imperialism is capitalism's final stage. It's capitalism in decay. No? They also use that definition for fascism, by the way. Just keep that in mind. No, no, no. See, capitalism is an economic system. Imperialism is a structure that supports that economic system. Imperialism takes many different forms. You've got old school colonial imperialism. You've got economic imperialism. Those are the two main ones that you're going to find. Russia is engaging in the old one, where you go in and do land grabs, like with the old fascists. America and China, and Russia to an extent, do it through economic imperialism. It's not that capitalism has gone to its final stage, that it's in decay. It's just a supporting structure under capitalism that capitalism uses. And it didn't even have to be under capitalism, because feudal societies engaged in imperialism, for one. And also, socialist societies could engage in imperialism. Anarchist societies wouldn't engage in imperialism because it's antithetical to anarchism. So any anarchist society that's engaging in imperialism isn't an anarchist society. This is where, to me, anarchism is the most consistent in terms of morals and logic. It really is. There's disagreements amongst tons of anarchists. I mean, I've read quite a few of the anarchist theorists. There is a Twitch streamer, I believe, is what they use, but it's a Doe. Exiliax was the name that I was first introduced to that user under. But Doe has a page that is links to all the different authors, and those author links go to their individual different works you can click on to go through and start reading. So I've read a good amount from Fanon, from Gramsci, from Luxemburg, from Goldman, from Kropotkin, from Malatesta, from Rocker, from Proudhon, and I mean I've got some disagreements with all of them, generally speaking. But overall, the philosophy of anarchism, the through thread that connects all the different tenets of all the different subsets, the different schools of thought under an anarchist tent, I guess, under the anarchist banner, they all have one through line, and I agree with it. It's generally the uh, safety, happiness, and freedom of people, so long as they're not infringing on the rights, those main three things, of other people. The abolition of hierarchies, especially ones that cannot be justified on a broader societal level. Now, I hear some arguments about this, and Tankies, the dumb fucks that they are, really like to look at you and quote possibly one of the worst pieces of theory that I've ever fucking read, and that's On Authority by Engels. And it's been a while since I've read it, but from what I remember, the general premise of On Authority is that anyone who exercises authority over themselves is an authoritarian, because authority being used anywhere is authoritarianism. And so authoritarianism is a perfectly justifiable means for society. If I were able to meet Frederick Engels, if I could time travel, go back in time, and go meet Engels and Marx, I would beat Engels nearly to Roblox with his own books. I would. On Authority is garbage. It's a piece of shit literature. Like, it's nothing. It's worthless. There is nothing to be gained from it. So, authoritarianism is pretty well defined, especially now. Dictatorial state, subservience to said state, disappearances, no discontent or dissent allowed within the state, non-democratic, crackdowns, shit like that. There's a lot of things that go into it. But the deal is, with authoritarianism, it's the state doing the thing. With anarchism, there is no state. Things are done either by direct democracy or consensus. Now, I hear a lot of people using consensus, especially anarchists, and this one pisses me off. Okay, anarchists? Consensus doesn't mean 100% agreement. It doesn't. Direct democracy doesn't mean 100% agreement either. Guess what? Some people just aren't going to fucking agree. And you know what they're going to do? They're going to have to deal. They're going to have to. They're going to have to get over it. If you set the bar at 96% of people agreeing on something in a direct democracy, and 96% of people vote and agree on the thing, and there's 4% who don't agree on the thing, sorry, there's other options. There literally are. You can have your own little commune where your rules are applied and you don't deal with the broader. There's ways to get around that the malcontentedness of minority failures. There is. By minority, I mean literally minority of the population, not minorities like, Anyways, the thing that I really want to emphasize here when it comes to On Authority is it's possibly the worst piece of literature I've ever read in terms of trying to justify authoritarianism. And that's saying something, because there's some really fucking bad ones. But or On Authority is pedantic in a way. It's nonsensical in other ways. The arguments are very, very thin, paper thin, and anyone who has read it and also read any anarchist critiques can tear it apart. It's really not that hard, because On Authority is dog shit. Terrible book. Terrible fucking book. So back to the Tanky coping. What was it? He was complaining about how Western leftists are really just social democrats, and that Tankies are the only ones doing on the ground organizing and activism efforts. Mm-mm. No, that's not true. You see, I've done work in my state, local communities and stuff. I'm in a Discord of anarchists that do on the ground local work, organizing, activism, as well as engage in electoralism in some regards. And you know who never shows up to do any of the organizing locally? MLs, Tankies. Not a single one. They're too busy handing out flyers and leaflets on who to vote for. That's what they do. They're handing out flyers and leaflets on voting. Not doing, mutual aid on the ground efforts. No, uh, no literature readings. No anything. Nothing. They're going to try and help homeless people, and they're trying to volunteer at homeless shelters, feeding, soup kitchens, shit like that. Nothing. Nothing. Never fucking see them. Never hear about them. Nothing. There's anarchists there, for sure. You know who else shows up? Liberals. You know who else shows up? Regular Republican voters. Just slightly center-right, right-of-center, conservative Republican voters. Those two groups, aside from the anarchists, the liberals and the slightly right-leaning conservatives, are the easiest for local anarchists to talk to and pull over. They're not easy to talk to in the sense like the conservatives are pretty hardline on, statism and shit. But it's a little easier to convince them when they're actually out there in those conditions. They're like, hey, this is a problem and we've got the ability to take care of it with this, with, we're doing this work here, but we could, try and force the state to take something up on it. We hate the state. We don't like the government, but it should be doing this instead of sending weapons to Saudi Arabia to bomb Yemenis people, or sending weapons over to Israel, or sending weapons over to fucking name a place that's not Ukraine at the moment, or Taiwan. So I guess those two are fine because they're under imminent threat from fascists. Yeah, China's also fascist. But yeah, it's funny that you would say that there's never a Western leftist that's doing any actual on the ground organizing, when really it's the MLs who I've never seen, never heard from on the ground. Nothing. It's the anarchists. It's the social democrats. Tankies? Nope. Where you guys at? Where y'all at? Where are any of you? Haven't come across one who has been open about being an ML. And then he waffles, Hakeem goes on and waffles more about like China actually being socialist. And it's like, nobody. They are state capitalist or fascist. State capitalism is kind of the economic presupposition of fascism, rolling state and corporate power together. The government literally owns the corporations. Like, state-owned enterprise and state-run enterprise isn't socialist. It's not. I'm sorry. You know how people are like, oh, maybe some old dead guys from the 1700s don't know everything in perpetuity. Yeah, guess what? The same thing applies to Marx. He doesn't know everything, and he doesn't know everything in perpetuity. He could be wrong about some shit. He used to support central planning. Central planning is dog shit. It's been proven to be dog shit. There's planning failures all the time in centrally planned economies. There's market failures in market economies because neither system is perfect. But there's less of a problem with the market economy. So you know what you do? You remove some things from the market and make them centrally planned, like housing and food and healthcare. And you make those, in the short term, state-run. In the longer term, just societally run, democratically owned, like societally owned by the people. The way it should be, a proletarian society. Personally, I think that's, me being a direct through line from Marx and Bakunin and Kropotkin and Fanon and Luxemburg and Goldman, straight through from them to me. You got, apparently not that many people who seem to understand. Because all these Tankies running around. You got Chaos's Mel, you got fucking Hakeem, you got Deprogram, those guys, Thought E2, and or maybe a Second Thought, I don't remember. You got Luna Oi, who, fun one here, little tangents. Luna Oi, puts out videos as a Marxist-Leninist YouTuber, and made the claim that in Vietnam, if you're born in the rural areas, you get a 500 square meter farm, field, plot of land for being able to grow rice and stuff, and you get the house and everything there, and you just get that for free for being born in Vietnam, for being born in the rural areas. And Vietnamese anarchists and other leftists, anarchists and actual socialists, not Marxist-Leninists, they came across her tweets and were asking where their plots of land and stuff are. Then they realized who Luna Oi was, and it turns out her father is a very powerful government official for the actual like Vietnamese government, and then she's a state propagandist hired by the government to be able to put out the YouTube videos and do her tweets and stuff. So you got an actual state agent masquerading as a Marxist-Leninist putting out shit like dialectical materialism is an ethical system. I guess granted that was non-compete, but she okayed everything there. So yeah, Luna Oy and non-compete, actual state agents slash fascists. Um, you've got re-education, Aaron, that dumb fuck. You've got Professor Flowers, who had a really bad understanding of decolonialism. Granted, I haven't really watched a whole lot from her, so I don't want to just broadly label her a tanky. However, her unwillingness to just say outright, like, I don't think a country should engage in genocide or ethnic cleansing as part of their decolonial project, I think that would be bad. She just refused to say that and leave it at that. She'd be like, well, I don't think it'd be good, but they should have the right to. No, nobody should have the right to be doing genocide or ethnic cleansing. Nobody should. Nobody gets that right. PF, nobody. That right there, to me, was pretty well disqualifying. But outside of that, like I don't really know much of her content. I pretty much watched the one Vosh debate and then one other video she did, and it didn't really vibe with me on that end. So I was just like, okay, no, we're not gonna watch PF. I did like a couple of FD Signifier videos. Before anybody gets like, oh, he just doesn't like any of the POC creators. No, I do. I like a couple of the FD Signifier videos. The one that I first came across was actually a phenomenal movie review. It was a absolute obliteration of buck breaking. I think that was a Tariq Nasheed movie. And that one, honestly, yeah, no, that video went so fucking hard. I was applauding. I was like, hell yeah. I'm just sitting there like I took a shower. I got out of the shower and listened to the video. I'm like, oh fuck yeah, I'm gonna go soak in a bath over this and just soak in this information. It was great. I really did like the video. FD did a really good job. I've seen a couple of other of his videos. I do have some disagreements on some, like because I haven't watched a whole lot of his content. I've seen I've seen a couple of his videos, and I've seen him engage with other members of the left, and followed him on, like, was following him on Twitter and stuff. Because I don't think FD Signifier is a bad guy. I think some of his ideas are bad. I think some of the things he's learned and the people he's learned it from are bad. But outside of that, no, FD Signifier I think is perfectly fine. He's reasonable, generally speaking, as far as I've been able to tell. So yeah, but FD Signifier generally is in that group of people that, I mean, he's kind of tangentially related to the group, uh, Luna Oi and all them, being kind of tanky dumb fucks. Because he's got some real dumb fuck opinions on some stuff. Xanderhold really doesn't like him. Vosh doesn't like him. Demon Mama doesn't like him. And that's fine. That's fine. I like all three of those creators. Shark doesn't like FD Signifier. Shark is one of my favorite YouTubers, especially political YouTubers. Apello, I have no idea what Apello's opinion on FD Signifier is. But Apello, really good creator as well. Really like him. Aston Mac, I don't think likes him. So, it was kind of give and take there. There's plenty of people that I like that don't like him. And I like the people who don't like him, and I kind of like some of his content. I mean, what it is. Some of it is bad, some of it's good. Take the good with the bad. You kind of weigh it and decide whether or not you want to watch him. Personally, would I recommend him to people? Not really. There's a few videos. Go watch the butt breaking thing that he did, the movie breakdown and review and absolute obliteration of that terrible movie. I will recommend that one very highly. Seriously, go watch it. And FD, if you somehow come across this, I wouldn't mind having a chat with you. I feel like you won't. I also feel like if I say why you won't, you'll get even more angry. But I will say it. It's a pattern I've noticed. You wouldn't talk to Vosh. You wouldn't talk to Demon Mama. You wouldn't talk to Zan. You did talk to Merrick, but you misled her about what you were talking to her about. And you did talk to Shark. And you told Shark that you only spoke to him because he's black. It's pretty clear I'm not. So I feel like he won't talk to me. But I wouldn't mind having that conversation. I really wouldn't. I don't dislike the guy. He seems generally chill and willing to listen. Probably. Who else is in that fucking group? There's so many goddamn stupid ass tankies that I've come across. I can't even name all of them. There's so many Twitter users who have tried to dogpile me and shit. People on Reddit. I literally just started using Reddit. I've had an account for a year because people would send me links on stuff that they wanted me to see on Reddit, and I'd click them, and then it would never take me there. So I've never done anything with Reddit. Like, really never anything. I did r/plays last year because it was fun, and I was helping out with the OK Buddy Bausch little bit that they were doing that was getting brigaded by Destiny's community to try and obliterate it. This year I've kind of engaged with it. I've made a couple of comments. I made one post on a subreddit about Bad Empanada. Bad Empanada! The other one, Fascist Fajita. Yeah, that dumbass. I've put out content about Bad Empanada before. But to summarize, Bad Empanada is toxic, stupid, like unbelievably so, brainlet, dripping out his fucking ears. Creepy. Definitely creepy. Weak little soy boy. I know people will be, oh, that's a right-wing insult. I don't care. I don't care. He's weak. He's got a fucking patchy, fucking all the patchy facial hair, which I can't even really make fun of. My shit comes in patchy and grows in on my cheeks, but I shave. I try and put a little effort into this. Not much, honestly. Really not much. I pretty much occasionally shave here, try and shave my mustache and get rid of this whenever I get annoyed by it. But he didn't even do that. He looks weak. He moved from Australia to Argentina, allegedly to get away from a rape allegation, allegedly to be closer to the Nazis that are in Argentina after fleeing from Germany in World War II and having descendants who grew up ideologically the same. Allegedly, on those last two. I don't have proof about the first allegation. Somebody does, but I don't. And since I'm on my phone, I can't just go through and start trying to pull stuff up, you know. It is what it is. The second one is a vibe on me. I feel like that's what he did. So there's just not enough Nazis in Australia for him. So he's like, oh, I'm going to go closer to him. And he did. What better way than go to Argentina? I mean, you're going to find a lot of them there, apparently. From what I understand. It's a problem. Also, he wouldn't box me. I told him I would. I told him I'd box him. And he'd have time to train, and I would have time to train. I said it. I'm pretty sure I sent him DM on Twitter. Or said it publicly on Twitter. I don't remember. But I'm pretty sure I said it. It was before my Twitter was banned. So I don't even have a record of that anymore. But I'm pretty sure. I'm not going to say 100% sure, because I don't have the best memory. But I'm pretty sure I publicly said that I would box him. And that I would win. Because he kept trying to tell me to come onto his stream and debate. And I've seen his debates, okay? I've seen him debate. Especially the Loner Box debate. And this motherfucker will never actually listen to what you're saying and give you even a somewhat charitable interpretation. He goes for the most hideous interpretation that he could possibly think of, even if there's not actually a correlation to it. So I'll give a little example from my personal interactions with him. I told him that aristocracy isn't a Zionist. She's not pro-apartheid. And then I gave some example of her arguing against it. And he turned around and said, oh, so you support apartheid and you're a Zionist and you're a scum and you want the Palestinians genocided. So I want you to think for a second. Me saying, I don't think that this other person who just happens to be born in Israel is pro-apartheid am pro-ethnic cleansing of Palestinians. Does that correlate? Do you hear that and immediately go, oh, well, he must be in favor of it then? If you do, you're really fucking stupid or really dishonest, disingenuous, and or bad faith. Because that's not at all what that, you can't draw that from that. You can't. Not logically, not, you shouldn't do it morally because it's just a fucked up thing to try and do. But that's something that he has done. To me, directly. That is a direct thing that he has done to me. Because I said that I don't think Eris is pro-apartheid. Because she's argued against apartheid and given arguments about why apartheid is bad and why Israel shouldn't be an apartheid state. She does think Israel should exist. Cringe, I know. I don't think any state should exist. Totally different deal. But saying that she thinks that Israel should exist is not the same as being pro-apartheid. It's not. The only other thing that they have to try and throw out there is when she said she doesn't think it would be feasible for all of the Palestinians who have been, what's the word? Can't think of the word. Kicked out of their area and forced to flee. Um, she doesn't think it's feasible for all of them to be able to return back to their homes. And this could be interpreted in a few ways. One, that she's, because she said there's not enough space. One is that she just doesn't think that Palestinians should return. Two is that as things sit currently, it's not a viable option for them to return to those homes. Or three, she was quoting another person. Now, I'm going to spoil this for you because this was actually brought up in the loner box debate. She was quoting someone else. That wasn't even her opinion. She was quoting someone else. Now, he tries to frame it as that's definitely her quote because she says, I think to me. When it's written in a book, that's how it's written. I think, comma, to me, comma, that it's not feasible. And the person saying that is going with the second interpretation. It's literally not a viable option based on space, the amount of fight that would have to be had to do that kind of thing, and the increased death toll that would happen to Palestinians for people trying to move back. All bad. All bad. So that's just a couple of examples of how, bad empanada is a well, he's retarded. He's a dipshit fascist. And he's super dishonest. Uh, I don't want to get spicier than that because last time I mentioned him in a video, he tried to report it, get it mass reported for hate speech and death threats, even though I didn't make a threat to him at all. I told him I wouldn't mind if he did Roblox himself. It'd probably be better for the planet, but I didn't even encourage it. I didn't threaten him. Nothing. So let's just leave it at that and just say that Bad Empanada is not somebody you should listen to, trust, take seriously, or like. He is a fascist. He's an idiot. He is dishonest. Other tankies. Who else? I kind of already went over Hakeem. Oh, yeah, the deal with Hakeem. So, Hakeem, A, he's a pussy. Big fucking pussy. Massive pussy. All right? Hakeem he would shit talk like Vosh and shit, and other people who would agree in that general camp. And then he came on to debate Vosh and agreed with everything Vosh said, and then turned around and started shit talking him again. Very similar to Noah Samson or Socialist MMA or Nico. Well, the Nico House actually came in. No, both of them came in and actually were arguing with those two also. Yeah, dumbass tankies. They came in to argue with Vosh, but yeah, they came in to argue with Vosh themselves personally. Nico and Socialist MMA, and their points were just bad. They were really fucking dumb. Barney or Busters, and they haven't really at all been relevant since. The Revolutionary Blackout Network is where they rebranded to. They tried to go with the name Fred Hampton Leftists, and Fred Hampton Jr. came out and said, "Keep my dad's name out your fucking mouth, you grifting fascists." And so they had to change it to Revolutionary Blackout Network, and they keep trying to run the grift, but they got called out by literally Fred Hampton Jr. The guy's like, no, no, no. Nico House tried to say that because he had a picture with, was it Nico or was it Unholy Rome? I don't remember. Unholy Rome is psychotic. Might have been him, but I'm pretty sure it was Nico saying that he got a picture next to uh, Fred Hampton Jr., and so that was enough to say that he had permission to use the name, and Fred Hampton Jr. came out and just obliterated that entire fucking narrative. So they had to rebrand, and they've been doing dumb shit ever since. There's like, I think Sabby Sabs is okay there. She has some bad opinions, but again, it's kind of a FD signifier thing. Like there's some good, some bad. Just kind of wade in, see what's going on with Sabby. There was another person, or no, that was the Illuminati group. Uh, yeah, that's a whole different group. Never mind. Oh, other tankies that are really fucking dumb and bad, and currently seething because they're all fascists. Jai and her cult. I've been wanting to go on this one. So I knew about Jai before she transitioned. I got into it with Jai before she transitioned because she was being transphobic, homophobic, fascist, racist, like all of the bad shit. Everything you could think of. Ableist, which I mean, honestly, depending on how bad it is, like if you're making fun of somebody for like diabetes or, actual mental disabilities, intellectual disabilities, shit like that, that's really fucking bad. But if you just throw out the word retard because somebody's doing something dumb, even though they're normally really capable, trip over their own feet, smack their head onto something, and then fart, yeah, whatever, I don't care. Um, but she was like doing all the actual shit, all the real ableism, racism, and shit like that. Also engaging in harassment campaigns, trying to dox people, trying to sending out actual threats, trying to actually go to somebody's house to harm them and their property slash family, shit like that. So Jai, really fucking bad. And then, I got into it with them over that essentially, and they tried to say that I'm racist, like they do anyone who criticizes any of them there. And so I got a wave of reports and stuff like that on my account. I had to fight them, got my account reinstated, held, just kind of sat back and observed some shit for a while. And then, because that was during the, there were two things going on at the same time, or roughly the same time. Keffels and the Noodles thing. Keffels and Noodles. And then the other one was, I don't remember the person's name, but they had a pet pig that because pretty sure that it was they gave a pig a non-alcoholic beer, which is good for their digestive tract. And so Jai ended up trying to dox them and threaten to find them and kill their pig. Around that time, because I was arguing on both ends of that, like it's not racist to make a cookbook about dumplings and noodles if you were raised by Chinese people in Chinese culture and you just happen to be white. You were adopted by Chinese people. Whatever. That's so stupid, for one, that it doesn't even, it shouldn't have even been mentioned as something, but it was. And I thought it was really dumb and bad and harmful to our image as leftists and the ability to bring over people to the left for actual real issues like, actual racism and oppression and patriarchy and sexism and homophobia and transphobia. But no, 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 no. Let's focus on a fucking cookbook. Okay? Yeah, no, no, no. Stupid shit. Noodles are tasty. Okay? Fuck off. They jumped onto Keffels because she came out and said, uh, essentially all she said about the deal is, why is this white woman making a cookbook about noodles and dumplings? And Keffels came out and said noodles are tasty. And they started dogpiling her, same kind of shit, and harassment, trying to dox her, blah, 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 death threats, etc. Calling her racist, smears, all this, fake screenshots, left and right, SWAT attempts. And then it was found out that I got banned off of Twitter, and then I finally got my account reinstated after that blew over. So I'm sitting there lurking and stuff, and then I come across from the old account I'm not going to say the name because, I don't want to be accused of dead naming an old Twitter account. But essentially, if you replace one letter in Jai, you have another name that is more associated with men, and it's the last letter, the I. You replace that. But I came across an account that was Kunta Jai instead of the old name, which, yeah, one letter difference. And I went, surely this isn't the same motherfucker. Yes, it turns out she is. She transitioned and came out to be even more toxic, to be able to accuse people of racism, sexism, and transphobia all in one whenever anybody criticizes her for any of her horrendous fascistic behaviors. I'm another one who got it. And I got into it with them 3 times. That whole community. 3 times. Over something that I thought was small. I mentioned I don't think this is bad. Now, one of them, granted, was it started out as a misunderstanding when we got into it because it was with the Lil Nas X transition joke, and that lady got sent a bunch of harassment and stuff. I didn't know anything about that. All I know is I saw somebody post uh, the their community's updated coded N-word list, to which saying any of these things is essentially calling them the N-word. And what they claim the point is, oh, you guys don't want to listen to our actual opinions because we're in this community. You just throw one of these things out to just dismiss us. And I'm going to point out some of the things that are on there. American, Democrat, PSYOP, Orbiter. A bunch of stupid fucking terms. There's like 4 on there that I think were actual coded terms, like urban and thug were both thrown on there as things. And yeah, depending on the context, especially urban, there's more leeway there because, if you're living in an urban area, whatever. Thug is pretty heavily racially, has a pretty heavy racial connotations, especially with the way media has used it. But there's a bunch on there that's just dumb and shit that shouldn't be taken seriously. So I mentioned that. Like, somebody else had screenshotted the post, and I commented on the post that has a screenshot from somebody I followed. And they went all the way over there to start screaming about how I'm racist because I'm not supporting this black trans woman getting harassed. I don't even know anything about this shit. All I saw was the stupid fucking list. Okay? Stupid list. Absolutely ridiculous. Brainless list. And they deflected it over to the black trans woman who was getting harassed. And I'm like, I don't know nothing about that. That's not what this one's about. They're like, well, instead of complaining about this, are you going to go and show solidarity to this black trans woman? And I'm like, yeah, sure, fine, whatever, I don't care. Like, I'll go show solidarity, but that's not what this is about. I need this to stay on fucking topic. Drop the fucking Twitter or whatever. I'll go follow, and if that's all I need to do, I'll figure out how to show support if there's more than I need to do. But if just dropping a follow is it, yeah, throw it on. Come on, bring it. And then it got into a whole fucking deal after I followed, with them screaming about me being racist still. And I think that the big miscommunication came because afterwards, like the person who was initially trying to come in and call me racist that's in that community thanked me, apologized for calling me racist, and left. The name that they went by was Throat Goat, and I think it was he, him. Not 100% sure. Pretty sure though. Throat Goat. Throat Goat and I perfectly fine on that end. Like, okay, cool. You know what? You were amicable. I was amicable. We resolved this. I showed the solidarity, and then I explained why I think this list is fucking dumb. And they explain, well, the list is, because of this and the dismissal thing. And my explanation to that is, no. We're not using these to dismiss you because you're part of this group. We're listening to what you say. We think that what you say is fucking retarded and dismiss that. Using this label to go, hey, this is an opinion that seems to come from this general community. And this general community has some really fucking dumb ideas. And we say why we think they're dumb. We listen to what you say. We disagree with what you say. We say why we disagree with what you say, and then we discard it. It's not just outright, oh, a Jai orbiter said something, opinion discarded. Now, we will say Jorbiter, opinion discarded, but it's not just outright. Literally, it's Jorbiter, opinion discarded, and then usually fucking enter wall of text about why you think that opinion's wrong. And if they continue on with it, you just Jorbiter, opinion discarded. Don't care at that point. I already explained why I think your opinion is dumb. I went through and referenced your opinion to explain why it's dumb down here. So there's that. Anyways, after that, somebody accused me of wanting to arrest people, and they said something about how I probably believe 1350 is accurate in terms of like what the data is supposed to show. 1350 being a crime statistic that says that 13% of the population commits 50% of the violent crime. Black people are 13% of the population. Now, I want to clarify a little something here. When I say the statistic is real, what I'm referring to there is that's a stat that exists. You can't say the stat doesn't exist, because then somebody will pull up the stats. What you have to be able to do is explain it. As in, one, there's economic deprivation that has led to a slight increase in crime. However, this is applied across the board. We only happen to catch more black people in it because of over-policing, racist policies, racist police, and the economic deprivation that we specifically put them, black people into for a long time. There's also gang affiliation and shit. And granted, the 50% record is just arrests. It's not convictions. So there's that. And then also, well, no, I think it is convictions. But there's false convictions as well. They get attributed. And that's the deal. However, when I say the stat exists and you have to contend with it, I think they heard or read the stat's real, deal with it in your own community kind of thing. And that's not at all what I meant. And that's probably just a miscommunication on my end. I apologize. The thing that I'm trying to reference there, say there is, yeah, the stat, if you look it up, that stat fucking exists in the FBI crime statistics. The thing you have to be able to do is explain why it's wrong. And they did. I mean, they were sending me links about false conviction rates and shit like that. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I get that. That's not what my point was. My point was literally what you're doing here. Like, you have to be able to explain it. White people get into gangs too. White people sell drugs. White people get arrested, but they don't get disproportionately falsely convicted for stuff that they didn't do. So that's the deal. Like, trying to explain that and just getting people just screaming about how you're racist because you're trying to explain why the stat itself is actually racist and wrong, but you have to be able to contend with it, was really fucking frustrating. All right? It really fucking was. And on top of that, because that community is so bad faith, they were just sitting there trying to go, oh, why don't you just call me the N-word? I know you want to. You should just say it. It'll be refreshing for you to reveal your true colors. Blah, 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 blah. I have no want or desire to say the N-word. There's no reason for me to say it. It's not something that I do. I don't say it when I'm rapping alone. Okay? I don't think it. Nothing. It took me 15 minutes to get the fucking, saltine crackers with the emojis replacing salt and teen, and crackers is just white people, salt and the word teen, and then emoji of white people with chili and stuff. It took me 15 minutes to get the second part of that. It did. Salt and VI and then the emoji of black people. I'm sitting there going, what the fuck is this? Yeah, no, it's not a word that pops into my head just randomly. It's not a word that I use. So the fact that they wanted to just jump onto the, oh, you want to say it? Why don't you just say it? Go ahead and just say it. It's going to be so refreshing for you to reveal your true nature. You should just say it. It's who you are. No. And the only reason you're doing that, the only reason you're saying that, is because I'm white. Because they're actually racist. They think it's inherent to me that I want to be a racist, that I want to say the N-word, that I want to subjugate non-white people. That's something that they actually believe. That is something they confirmed to me. that they think if you're white, that is inherent characteristics of you because you're white. And that's not how that works. No ethnic group, no racial group has any inherent characteristics. They don't. What you're doing with that is the inverse of what the racists do by arguing 1350, because they're saying that that criminality is inherent to black people. And that's not the case, because no racial group has any inherent characteristics. And the fact that you would even stoop so low as to insinuate it shows me that you have no principles as a leftist. You are not a leftist. You're a piece of shit. Your community that you have cultivated, Jai, is full of pieces of shit, also full of fucking white guilt liberal fucking pussies. Absolute losers. So, to wrap this bit up, because I know that this one's probably going to be the one that's the most contentious. Oh, wait, I need to. No, I'm sorry. I'm not wrapping this up. I just remembered the worst part. Something I wanted to block out before I got too mad. Thank you, my brain. Eden Knight. Eden, who I knew on Twitter before transitioning, again, because I've been on Twitter for a while. At least I was on Twitter for a while. Eden Knight and I corresponded a little bit. Not a lot. We weren't like close friends or anything, but we had some discussion back and forth occasionally, mostly in comments and stuff. I don't think we ever had DMs or anything. However, Eden transitioned, and Eden started getting massive amounts of shit from the Jai cult, from the Jorbiters. And they started saying that the sun emoji, because Eden decided to do this thing called the sun cult, and it was very funny and memey. But they started to say that the you can identify Nazis by the sun emoji. It's the brightness emoji, actually, not the sun, but you know, the brightness emoji. You can identify Nazis by that. And they were harassing Eden. And then when Eden was kidnapped from the United States to be forced back to Saudi Arabia, to be forced to detransition and end her own life, it's the Jai cult who came out and started making fun of it, harassing Eden's partner, harassing Eden's friends. So this is the strongest I could possibly say about this that's within TOS. That entire group could fucking die. I don't care. The Jai cult, the entire fucking group, everyone who worships her fucking farts, sitting there just... They could die. I don't care. They are fascists. They are pieces of shit. They are scum. They are lower than the lowest low. They are on par with Nick Fuentes. They really are. Honestly, I do not care. I do not care. Fuck them. If you disagree with me on that, you're free to disagree with me. But if your reason isn't good, I don't fucking care what you think. Present me a good reason for me to give a fuck about Jai. I've tried showing compassion to Jai. I have. Trying to come from a place of understanding. Trying to move Jai over to the to being an actual leftist instead of a piece of shit. But no. Constant resistance. Constant just diminishing my opinions or everything that I tried to do because I'm white. And obviously, me as a white person couldn't know anything about anarchism, communism, rehabilitation, anti-racism, decolonialism, anything like that, because I'm white. And that's not the thing that's got me salty. It's Eden Night. Now I'm really fucking upset. Okay. So, that's it. That's all I'm going to say about that. That's the end. If they respond, I don't fucking care. Die. I don't care. Seriously. I don't. That's all I got to say about that for now. Tankies are fucking garbo. And hopefully I've shown, or at least explained, can't show anything. I don't have a monitor or a computer right now to be able to show. But I hope I've explained sufficiently why I think Tankies are fascists. State-worshipping, state-capitalist, authoritarian fuckwits with a terrible understanding of theory. That's going to be all from me for today. Hopefully the next week or so kind of picks back up. I get everything settled and all that. And yeah, I will hopefully stream again tomorrow after work. Yeah, I think tomorrow after work will be good. At least I hope so. And that should be it. Thanks, y'all. Hope to see you tomorrow. Take care, and yeah, bye.